Hey everyone, this is your man GS002 coming back at you with another video. So this video is going to be a little bit different. Um, First of all, I'm a big fan of Borderlands. I really got into Borderlands when Borderlands 2 came out. Played it a lot, and as you can tell, we are playing Borderlands 3. So I don't see a lot of people using the Flak character. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my particular flak build. As you can see, this is the final screen at the Malawan Black site. I was able to solo this, and I've actually been farming it a few different times. Wotan, he kind of dropped some good stuff, but he's also once you get his pattern figured out, you can solo this. So let me go through the build and just kind of show you guys what's going on. Um, I came up with this build completely by myself. If this has any, coincidence with any other popular YouTubers' flak builds, like I said, that is purely coincidental. I came through this build through a series of, trial and error. So we're gonna get into it. So on your first ability, your Stalker ability, you want to have self-repairing system maxed out. This is going to give you a health regeneration ability, and you want to have it maxed out because this will allow you to regenerate health at a rate that will allow you to mitigate any type of fire damage, shock damage, as long as there's not multiple enemies shooting at you. It won't be able to tank through that, but this will mitigate a single person hitting you with a fire weapon. Um, Next, we're going to go into the master. So this really is going to augment your pet. And as you can see, I have the Iridian Skag. I feel like the Iridian Skag is the best pet for my particular play style. The Iridian Skag, he does give you a damage increase of 5%, and it increases your fire rate by 5%. And he's just really good at going around and tanking and taking out enemies that are on your periphery, which is going to be very, very important for the Malawan Black site. You have to clear all the levels out. Enemies will come up behind you. There's a lot of stealth troopers that will come up behind you, a lot of those flying orbs. So anyway, let's go through the master part. So ferocity is maxed out. This increases your pet's damage by 50%. Persistence Hunter, you want to have this maxed out as well. This gives Flak more gun damage. Anything that increases his gun damage is really good, and it increases your action skill duration. And I'll get more into the particular action skills later. So who rescued who is very important because basically as your pet is going around and dispatching enemies, that is going to give Flak health. And then as Flak kills enemies, it's going to rescue your pet. So this is also a very important ability. You want to have that maxed out. He Bites is really nice. It's a damage reflection. So whatever enemy deals damage to your pet is 15% of that damage is going to be reflected back to the attacker. So that one is kind of this one you can kind of play around with depending on if you want to have more of an offensive setup or if you want to have more for sustainability. You could put those 3 points into Hive Mind. So this is an either or here. Now as far as Frenzy, I have a class mod that gives me 1 point to Frenzy. You want to have Frenzy at 5. This basically will allow you to stack up damage. So you can accrue up to 10 stacks, and you get 4% damage for every stack of Frenzy. So that's 10 stacks. That's 40% extra damage if you have Frenzy maxed out. So this is going to be very, very important offensively. And then the next ability that I have here maxed out is Pack Tactics. So again, this is just a damage increase for Flak and his pet. It gives Flak an extra 21% damage, both of them, and it also gives them 15% more health. So you want to have that one maxed out. And again, this one deals mainly with your pet and augmenting your pet. So now let's go to the hunter slot. Interplanetary Stalker. This is another one of his stacking abilities. So you get 10% damage per stack. You can have up to 3 stacks as you're going around killing enemies. Your pet also gets a 5% damage per stack. And then if you're, based on if you're fighting humans or robots, you get an additional 7.5% or uh, action skill, well, corrosive damage on top of robots. And then for humans, you get a 15% action skill damage. So this is really where like the racks come into play. And so I do, when I'm going through this level, I do alternate between the racks. When I'm going through the actual enemies, I'll have the rack ability. And then when I'm on Wotan, I'll have the cloak. Um, so here we have Hunter's Eye. Hunter's Eye gives you damage bonus to specific types of enemies. So 15% extra damage to humans, 30% extra damage to robots, and 21.9% extra damage to beasts. And again, my class mod gives me 3 points, so I only put 2 points in here, but you want to have this 5 of 5. Ambush Predator, basically as long as Flak doesn't have enemies like in his face trying to melee him, he gets an extra handling percentage, gun handling percentage, and critical hit damage increase. So this is really, really helpful. Now we go into Two Fang. This is an ability that was carried over from BL2. I believe it was Zero's ability. So basically, you want to have this maxed out 5 of 5. This gives you a 25% chance that you shoot an extra projectile. This helps really for, rapid fire weapons, SMGs, that type of thing. If you do crit damage, the crit damage is basically gonna be doubled, 25% of the time. Which, if you're firing off a lot of bullets, that is extremely helpful. The most dangerous game is good because it gives you a damage increase after you kill a badass or higher enemy. Um, so you get an extra 33% of gun damage. Crit damage is increased by a little over 13%. You get better handling, um, and your pet gets a 36% additional bonus. This lasts for 2 minutes. So this is also a good ability to have. This Galactic Shadow I feel is very, very important for 1 point. Why not? This increases your crit damage by 15%. Grim Harvest, uh, this is just a damage increase for Flak. So 15% extra damage, gun damage, 50% action skill damage, and then your pet also gets an additional 35% damage. And then this one, the Megavore, I believe is really, really nice because basically now 20% of the time, regardless of whether you're shooting regardless of where you're shooting the enemy, you're going to crit them 20% of the time. So basically every fifth bullet is going to be a critical hit, regardless of where you hit them. Again, so Megavore is a very, very important ability. And so, like I said, when I'm going through the black site, I'll have racks on, and I'll typically have, let's see, flock and load and Rackcelerate. This you throw out 3 racks instead of just 1, and you also get an extra charge of the rack ability, and the cooldown rate is increased by 20%, so you can really fire those things off. Let's see, I think I've gone through all of the abilities. So yeah, unfortunately with me being in Stalker, very limited exploration in the Stalker tree, I only have this Gorillas in the Mist, but that's fine. I mean, you only need the fade away ability against bosses that do lots of damage, and you really, you can't use racks against Wotan, so you may as well just go with fade away, to give you some a free opportunity to basically get some hits off of him. So now let's go to my gear. So I have a level 57 lob. This is basically for when I get downed. This thing fires off orbs. I have the corrosive one because there's a lot of robots in the Malawan Black site, and this thing does a ridiculous amount of damage. The slow moving orbs, they do a ridiculous amount of damage. Now you have to be careful with this weapon. If you fire it against a wall or something, the orb will explode in your face, and it will most likely kill you because it does so much damage. So do keep that in mind. I also have an Arctic Reflexive Nighthawk in. This is anointed for flak, so it gives him additional fadeaway damage. Now, I just have this as occupying a spot. This item is not really effective against Wotan because, like I said, Wotan is a robot. So, but I just have it in there just for troops. Now we have Breath of the Dying. Breath of the Dying is a good it's a good rifle. Fires pretty quickly. Fire rate 10 rounds a second. It's fairly accurate, and when you down an enemy, it creates this corrosive cloud that kind of spreads out in all directions. Now you have to be careful. Again, these corrosive clouds that fire in all directions, they will damage you if you're too close to an enemy that you kill. So do keep that in mind. And then my main single point damage weapon is the Dastardly Maggie. Uh, I routinely, hit for 21k if it's not a crit hit. So this thing really just like melts Wotan's health away. So now let's go to the shield. So I have the Subsidizer Recharger. This is a very good shield. Basically, this is all of my stuff is legendary, but this is one of the better legendary shields. It really gives you a lot of sustainability. So 18k shield capacity and recharge delay is 5.5%. However, as soon as your shield gets broken, it's filled up again. That's the once more with feeling red text. That's what that means. So your shield instantly recharges, and the cooldown on that ability is 20 seconds. So this 18k shield is essentially doubled. So this is a really good shield to have. Also, Venator Maneater Bounty Hunter. This is a class mod that really augments my build. So it also says, bosses are treated as humans, beasts, and robotics for flax hunt skills. So this is really how you're able to like pour damage onto bosses and stuff like that. So this is a really good class mod. Grenade, Cloning Hex. I don't really use the grenade, but it's just something that I picked up. And this Phoenix Tears, I was able to farm the Phoenix, and I finally got this. So this legendary artifact, you get 100% of your health on second wind, and I also was able to get a really good one that gives you 50% added to your fight for life duration. So that's really, really useful. Also, just to kind of go through my weapons here, I was able to get an Infinity. The Infinity Pistol is very hard to find in Borderlands 3. There's no specific enemy that's going to drop it. And I basically got this through farming the Torque Arena a few times. So that's pretty much it. This is my build. You guys see my name here, G-Man the Double E. I am open to playing matches. If anybody wants to team up or whatever and do stuff, that's cool. I wouldn't mind doing the Malawan site in takedown mode. I just soloed it in single player mode. But anyway, that's my flak build. And like I said, I went over that because I don't see a lot of people using flak. And again, as you can see, I'm not bullshitting because this is the arena that you fight Wotan in. After he's been destroyed, you see the waypoint over there in the distance. It's a one-way waypoint out of here. So anyway, that's my video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content. and like the video, please. All right, guys, take care. Peace.